Okay, we're live, I guess. Play. Can't tell. I can't hear anything. I had it up on here. I can hear it here. I'm not supposed to. It's up there. Is a speaker going down there? Okay, I can't push this thing here. Okay. Ah. It says live right here. Put that in that tray again. Okay, now it says live right here. Get rid of this. I'm gonna go. I don't know how to do this full screen. Get rid of this. Gotta go. I don't know how to read the screen. Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Ed Peruta. This is Summary Judgment and a bunch of other names, but the show is Summary Judgment. I'm the president of American News, and to my right, your left, is Attorney Rachel Baird, who comes in to keep me in line. Other than that, I think we're good to go. I've sent out some invitations, and there's some stuff that we need to talk about.
Like what?
Well, I read it in bold print. Okay. Do you have an opinion on the Democrats or anyone advancing a bill that would punish parents who speak out against school policies?
Well, sometimes questions are asked in a way where obviously you're going to disagree with it. So I think any sane person would disagree with that. But results in polls often depend on how you ask the question. Yeah. So
This is what the bold print says. Now, to understand the media, there's a reporter or reporters, a group that do the story, the text, and then there's someone who puts a headline on it to grab attention. It's a totally different person. Oh no, hold on. Gotta tell how long we've been on. Okay.
but how could you pass a law that would prohibit parents from speaking out about school policy?
3-minute rule, 2-minute rule, 1-minute rule.
Okay, but you have to set some limitation on
Arbitrarily exercised or telling a person they can't speak.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you have been telling me, because for some reason I don't really do it anymore. I used to constantly listen in the afternoon or the mornings to WTIC radio. And there has been a topic on WTIC radio for a week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever. Okay. And it involves a town in Connecticut, Enfield.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
the host of the show is Todd Feinberg.
Todd Feinberg, yeah, and he used to, when Jim Weisvich was feeling bad, Feinberg would come in and substitute.
Did Jim pass away?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Okay.
You'd have to Google. I hope he didn't, but he's got some issues that,
But anyway, back to Enfield.
Okay. So Enfield has a Board of Assessment Appeals. That's where the assessor is going to tell you how much your house is worth with the land. It's going to tell you how much your car is worth.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a farmer, it's going to tell you how much your farm equipment is worth.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to pay taxes on it. And there's a program in the state of Connecticut, it may be federal, it's called PA 490. And I don't know whether that's Public Act 490.
It is.
Okay. And what it said was farmers are going to get a reduction in their taxes, in their mill rate, in whatever. They're going to get benefits from growing food for the public.
And doing some other things too.
And doing some other. They can grow trees, they can grow whatever.
Animals.
Fish, worms.
Cattle. Yeah.
They can get worms. But in Enfield, there's a chairman of the board named Tom Tyler.
Yeah.
Okay, Tom Tyler. I mean, they've all been on the radio. and there's a town manager named
Ellen Zappo Sasu.
Ellen Zappo
No,
Sasu.
it's Ellen Zappo
Zappo
Sasu.
Sasu.
Yes.
Okay. And there's a mayor, okay,
Mayor Crissati.
Mayor Cosad. And there's a tax assessor in Enfield,
Todd Helms.
Todd Helms. And Mr. Helms began to go through the decisions made by the Board of Assessment Appeals,
Yes.
did not agree with them, and started to raise the taxes or the valuation of agricultural property.
The tax assessor also determines whether certain land falls under PA 490 or not.
Right,
Changes the classification.
right.
And if you take farmland and say it's no longer farmland, then that's a big hit
It's a big hit.
for the farmer.
Right.
This is the story of the new sheriff came to town, and the new sheriff was the town manager who brought a corporation counsel, who brought a tax assessor, and apparently they either coincidentally or proactively sought to change a system up there that had been going fine for
I
a
would
long period of
love,
time.
I would love to have following information. Based on what the assessor did, how much additional revenue has been gathered up by the town?
And then after the BAA hearings, the tax appeal hearings were conducted in the spring of 2022 based on the October
October
1st
1st, 2021.
assessments,
Right.
right? The dissension became clear between the BAA and the tax assessor. And so the town retained a law firm. That's the big thing right now. To
Yeah, those lawyers, they seem to get in there somehow.
every government agency, when there's a problem, they hire an independent lawyer to come in and investigate. Well, who's the independent lawyer getting paid by? And if they come out opposite the town's position,
They're no longer the attorney.
well, yeah, well, they're not the attorney, they're the independent investigator. No other town's going to hire them. Like if I'm a town and I find out that this attorney went to do an investigation for that town and they came out against the town, they're never getting hired again. So there's nothing independent about it. So of course the report went entirely against the Board of Assessment Appeals. Basically called them a bunch of rabble rousers. And they paid $100,000. They paid this attorney and his firm $100,000 to do this report that has made things 10 times worse in the town.
All right.
And
my suggestion to the town of Enfield: have a plebiscite vote, up or down. Do we go with the Board of Assessment Appeals and their number, or do we go with the assessor and his number? For the simple reason is this: if the town chooses to value your farmland and give you a financial break, they're the only ones that make the extra money. If they don't want to collect that extra money, they'd rather have the farm, then do it that way.
when we went to that meeting, I think it was June 26th, where it was the intent of the town council to literally pit the tax assessor against the Board of Assessment Appeals by throwing out a sample case and encouraging them to argue back and forth their positions. And by the way, the tax assessor knew the cases ahead of time and the Board of Assessment Appeals did not. So that was most interesting. There was a tax assessor that came to back up the town tax assessor, which of course BAA didn't know about either. And he said, and he had a point. He said, if farmland is misclassified as farmland because it's not actually farmland, that didn't come out right. But if land is classified as farmland and the owner gets a break, but doesn't deserve that break because it's not farmland, then that is, I don't know if he used the term stealing but that is taking away taxes that should have been paid for the benefit of everybody. Now, to be fair, that is a way to look at it.
Okay.
But your idea to vote would bring out and give everybody a chance to vote. The people that think farmers or farmland is misclassified as farmland could come out and vote and say, we like this tax assessor. He's really laying down the law here, not letting anybody get away with this
Or I
classification.
don't want this man coming and knocking on my door. Okay. So, and I need to tell
But if
Gary Nance that his video is not coming through.
But a taxpayer knowing, and I don't know if they know or not, for $100,000 to do a study that is being challenged as so biased and not on point, that would make a taxpayer angry.
All right, I can see Gary now. All right.
Hi, Gary.
So what I'm saying is
Hi,
this.
Rachel.
The U.S. Supreme Court said that abortion is not a constitutionally protected procedure. Correct?
Okay, yeah.
But they've gone and said it's up to the states to figure out whether they want it to be legal in their states. It's
Right.
not a constitutional issue.
I mean, states could put it in as a guarantee in their constitution if they would like.
No, well, I'll give you an example. The state of California.
I need a pen because I just had an idea of something I want to talk about. Okay, I got one. Go ahead.
The state of California. I was shocked. I mean, I'm a Connecticut Yankee. You know, I eat mashed potatoes and meat.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know.
I found out that there is a house in Los Angeles owned by my wife that has a value of, say, over $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
But she only pays about $800 a year in property taxes, or $1,000, whatever.
Right.
Even though all the other states do it their way, a guy named Howard Jarvis, under the provision in their constitution called initiative, was able to go out and gather enough signatures to put the question on the ballot about taxing of property. And what came of that vote was this. And 30 years ago, 40 years ago, Connecticut tried something similar. When you buy a house for $100,000 or $200,000 or $500,000, the tax assessor taxes that house for what you paid for it. And until it's sold to someone else, that's the appraisal of the house. That's what you paid for it. That's what you're paying taxes on. So in a case where somebody buys a house in 1973 and the house appreciates in value over 50 years, they're still paying what they paid for it in 1973.
Mm-hmm.
They don't sell it, they don't refinance it, they don't do. And if you add something onto it, then the permit fee and the value of the addition can be added at full value. But what I'm saying is,
did that end at some point, or
no,
everybody that buys a house now, their taxes stay the same?
Everybody buys a house today.
Right.
If somebody comes up and wants to buy a house that was initially sold for $129,000 in 1973 and now pays $1.2 million for it, they're going to pay taxes on $1.2 million.
Mm-hmm.
You know, gone. And the question is,
but then do they stay at that level of?
Then they're frozen.
Okay.
Your taxes are frozen at the price you paid for the house when you got it.
What if housing prices take a deep dive?
You may be able to get it for less. I don't know, because none of them have gone down. But in Connecticut, now I can remember I was young. I had to be in my early teens, and it could have been 13, 14, 15 years old. I remember my mother talking to people, And the big thing was the state of Connecticut was talking about making a policy, a constitutional amendment, whatever it was, that when you reach age 65, there are no more increases in value. And it was like a circuit breaker
Yeah.
for people who got this. In other words, when I'm making $50,000 a year working, and then I go on to Social Security and I get 15,000 a year, my house, the value of my house can grow so high, and the taxes increase so much that
Absolutely.
I know people that have to sell their house because they can no longer pay the taxes. And Don Putnam had to sell his house in Wethersfield. He said, I can't afford to keep it anymore. My parents built it. I was raised there. I raised my family there. I'm living there, and I can't afford to live here alone. I can't even afford to keep it long enough to give it to my grandchildren. Can't
Yeah.
do it. So the people in Enfield are fighting over, or I should say, discussing, conversing. I don't know how to,
Whatever.
huh?
Whatever. Whatever.
Yeah. Um, over an issue that goes back to the turn of the country, to the swapping from the king to us. It was taxation. Now,
And
why?
and the thing that makes it interesting in Enfield is you have the tax assessor that makes an assessment, and then you have a board of appeals that you can appeal to, which people have. But then the tax assessor is coming in and overriding the board of appeals, which under the statute right now, he's allowed to do, and he shouldn't be able to. And other tax assessors in the other 168 municipalities in Connecticut do not do that. They could, but they don't because it's just not a good practice. And
It's not good PR in an election year.
talk about PR though, on Facebook in a area where residents, it's called Enfield Town Square or something like that. The tax assessor is getting on Facebook and arguing with the residents of the town about tax. Who has ever heard?
If I was the manager
Oh
or the
my
council,
God.
or if I was the manager or the council, at my next meeting, I'd have an executive session, personnel matters. I'd come out and you take the vote in open session and say, I make a motion that we terminate the tax assessor with 4 week severance.
I mean, we know
Done. Bye.
we know a tax assessor that you've known him longer than me, that we have the most respect for.
Right.
Such an even keeled, even when you disagree with him, the most respect for. I'm looking forward to running that by him and saying, look, would you ever get on Facebook and argue with residents of a town about the taxes in place? And he's basically calling some of them stupid. And the one who asked a question, he said, "Wow, that's a nice deflection." Now, I mean, he's being argumentative with the taxpayers. Okay, so I want to get to an issue that you reminded me of. You talked about abortion. Why'd you bring that up again? Oh, yeah, because it's a state
Because the
decision.
federal government can say it's not protected, but the states can make it protected.
Right.
The states can permit it, the federal government cannot.
Right. So there's a congressman who the Department of Defense has a rule or a policy where if a female, I'm assuming it doesn't apply to males yet, but if a female military person is stationed in a state that does not permit abortions, that has made abortions illegal, that the military will transport that person
To have the
to
procedure where
have
it's
the
legal.
procedure done elsewhere.
Well, I had a conversation um, with the Veterans Administration yesterday, and I've had this discussion with them previously. You know what I've been through with the VA, and I've always kind of come out on the winning side of the issue because I read it, I understand it, and it takes explosives to get them to understand it. Now, here was the issue. The initial issue, and I'll make it short. And I believe 2004, I had a loose tooth. on a bridge, and they paste it's pasted on. The white part is pasted onto a bridge or something. And they pasted it. I went on vacation to the Dominican Republic. And while I was there, I picked up a piece of bread, and I like the bread with the hard crust on it, like a baguette or something like that. And I bit it, and that piece snapped off in my hand. I go, shit, what am I going to do? So Lois says, well, why don't you just go out in town and go to a dentist, have him glue it back on? I said, I'm not having some third world dentist in my mouth. That's not going to happen. She says, well, what are you going to do? I said, we fly for free on American Airlines because of you. I said,
Not me, Lois.
no, I'm going to fly into Miami. I'm going to stay with my cousin Bob. I'm going to drive into the VA hospital in Miami and have them do it. So I flew into Miami. I drove down to the VA, and I had called initially when this whole thing prior to the glue. I had asked them, what do you do? Well, we're going to put it's not a bridge, like a flipper. You know what I'm saying? It has to be held in with poly grip. And I said, well, okay. And then I talked to my private doctor, and he's my private dentist, and he said, you need to have implants. It's where they put posts in your mouth and your teeth snap onto them or something. And I said, well, that sounds pretty good. So I went to the VA and said, I need implants. And Newington in the center of Connecticut says, we don't do implants. I said, you don't do implants? The VA does not do implants. So I said, well, I'm going to think about this because if I have to, I'm going to pay for it out of my own pocket. But I want the best dental, not the basement shelf dental. So I flew into Miami. I went into their dental clinic on an emergency situation. And the dentist comes in. He looks in my mouth. He looks at the tooth in my hand. And he goes, you need implants. I go, what? The VA does not do implants. He says, what do you mean they don't do implants? We do implants all day long here. I said, you what? Can you take this bib off me for a minute? So he takes the bib off. I get out of the chair. I walk out into the lobby. I get on the phone and I call West Haven. And I asked to speak to the chief of staff. And I said, I want you to tell me whether or not you do implants in Newington or West Haven. No, we do not. I said, okay. Do you do implants anyplace else in the country? He didn't know. I said, well, I'm sitting in Miami, and I'm told by the head of dental here that they do dental implants here all the time, and between one and the other, the implants are best. What do you say about that? Next thing you know, I'm getting a private dentist up here to do the implants. So since my heart transplant and before, I've had some serious dental issues. And the long and the short of it is, they sent me to their outside dentist. He wrote up a treatment plan that went back to the VA, and the VA said, oh, no, you can't do that. What do you mean you can't do that? He's your dentist. He's telling me what needs. You want to go to cheap route again instead of doing what he says, which is better. So
And
I
so
was
he
on the
stopped being a dentist for them.
and then he quit their program.
Yeah.
He said, I'm not going to put up with this. Now, I was on the phone yesterday with my nurse case manager, and she's totally on my side. But there's this dentist over there named McCabe, okay, who just argues and argues and argues.
Well, personality-wise, you two don't get along. There's no doubt
No, we
about
do
it.
not.
But if somebody's good, who cares? So we don't know, you know.
Right. Long and the short of this one, they're going to send me to some place down on the coast, New Haven, Guilford. Oh, Guilford. There's a place in Guilford. And Guilford is going to take me over, is going to meet me at the West Haven VA hospital. And they're going to do my procedure. They're going to take some teeth out
Oh,
in the operating room of the VA hospital of not the VA hospital, of a private hospital
I was
in
going
New
to
Haven.
say, wow, that's
No,
a surprise
in
that
a
you would have
private
surgery.
hospital.
Yeah.
I'm going to have some teeth removed in the beginning of getting what I'm supposed to get.
Okay.
And I'm kind of back and forth because
I mean, I
McCabe
want to kind of get back to this other thing, but go ahead.
McCabe says no. So my case manager went to Dr. Getchlick, who's the head guy,
Oh, I
and
remember
said
Dr. Getchell.
and said, "You're going to have to do something here."
Oh, I didn't know she went to him.
She went up to Getchlick, and so Getchlick is the one that got the ball moving with the outside provider, because everybody says, the heart unit says, if I'm going to have teeth removed, I can't be in the dentist chair under anesthesia for more than 4 hours, and I have to have it done in multiple stages. I can't have it done all at one time. So I don't know what's happening, but just yesterday I had that issue. So it's just,
Wow. Yeah, so we were talking about, abortion out of state
Yep.
for military personnel, and it's kind of like, well, it's exactly like you were just talking about.
Yeah.
They do implants some places and not other places.
Yep.
So I read an article where there is a Republican, and I don't know if it's a senator or a congressman, who is opposed to that military policy, and because he's opposed to abortion and doesn't believe the military should be supporting abortions or financing abortions in that manner. And I can't remember his name.
I got to end my story with this. I asked yesterday, I said, Aaron, I want you to answer this question. Do they do my type of surgery anywhere in the United States?
Mhm.
Does the VA do it in Los Angeles, San Diego, Miami, Dallas, Chicago, New York? Is there someplace, are you doing it someplace that you're just not doing it here? Like when I first had the issue with dental, and I said, because New England is a very small area. Connecticut has got Newington, it's got West Haven. They can't do certain procedures because they don't have the equipment and they don't have the staff. So she said she's gonna find out. She's gonna ask the question, get an answer. Because I said, I don't want to go into a procedure and then find out 2 months later that you could have done it the right way. So I forgot to say that.
Okay. So
Rachel.
the commandant of the Marine Corps,
Uh-huh.
his 4-year term, they only do 4-year terms, I guess,
Mhm.
ran out on July 10th of this year. And there should have been somebody right in
They
place.
named the next one, but he's not been sworn in.
Oh, have they?
Oh, yeah, they named the next commandant, but he can't get sworn in because of some shit that's going on down there.
Okay, I thought they hadn't voted yet. There's an interim Corps
Yes.
commandant.
Yes.
I think his name's Eric Smith or something like that. I can't remember.
Yep.
But I don't know now, based on what you said, whether the vote is being held up or the swearing in is being held up, because this one congressman
I believe the confirmation is being upheld.
will not let it go
Is
forward.
being held up. Yeah.
Will not let it go forward.
Will not let it go forward.
Right.
Yep.
Rachel.
Okay. Just wanted to get that
But
in.
it's I consider myself to be a very lucky veteran.
Rachel.
I didn't lose a leg. I didn't lose an eye.
Well,
I have my issues, but
I don't think people should compare. There's no comparing people's life experiences.
no. What I'm saying is,
Yeah.
I feel bad
Rachel.
because there's other people who have similar, if not worse, conditions than me that go along with whatever they're told, and it's sometimes wrong.
Well, it is good. It is good when you're fortunate to know it. So what other stories do you have from this week?
Oh, hold on. Well, let's ask Gary. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Oh, we gotta. Does it have to be on your audio?
No.
I can't hear him.
Okay.
Okay.
I can't hear
Let
you.
me just do this. Settings. Okay, hold on. Audio.
Well, I hear you. I
yeah,
hear you.
PGM
Can you hear
goes out
me?
that way. I don't know how to do it. I got to figure out how. Gary, you can hear me. Shake your head. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. For some reason, I can't hear you, and I'm not gonna be jabbing around or everything. I'm glad
Okay.
to see you.
So the next story I wanted to get in today,
You do that, and I'm just gonna look for. Go ahead.
here in Connecticut, there is an issue going on where supposedly, what is it, 25,000 tickets were written by state
State
troopers
troopers.
that are fake or something. I don't know what the allegation is really. The other side of that is that the union for the troopers is claiming that
Do you
it's
have that letter?
no, it's a data glitch. And that it really needs to be looked into. And you and I have had experiences with the state police where they have fallen behind on listing firearms, and people have been held accountable for firearms that they've long since sold. In other words, they're not that completely up to date on technology and keeping track of things. And the commissioner, Rovella, went before the legislature last week, or maybe it was the week before, and really was acting like everybody was guilty. And they want to release the names of all these state troopers who are potentially involved in whatever it is. And the union's fighting back on that. And the letter you're talking about is the vote of no confidence that the union took in the commissioner and the colonel over there. So
I
that's,
got comments, but go ahead.
yeah, no, go ahead.
All right. There is no rhyme nor reason for the people who voted for no confidence to say, you're not supporting us.
What does that mean?
In other words, somebody is alleged to have done something and you don't back them up. You go after them. Well, this show, you and I showed a video of Trooper Lumpkin, brand new out of the academy, shoplifting an item from the Newington Gun Exchange. There it is, right on video.
What's on our summary judgment?
Yeah, right there. And
YouTube channel opening,
yeah, and he's still a trooper.
as far as we know.
Right. Now, there was horrible. There was a trooper who worked several shifts and was driving home on I-84 and crashed into the back of a tractor trailer truck, probably because he fell asleep and his foot went down on the gas. I don't know. But why are they permitting state troopers to work multiple shifts or private duty jobs when a truck driver has to rest every 4 hours, every so many hours? He has to come off the road and rest for 4 hours.
Not only do they permit it, but they encourage it because there's a system where your pension increases by the overtime that you work in 3 years back to back. Now, it's more complicated than that, but I'm just going to leave it at that. In other words, overtime is encouraged because your pension increases based on that overtime.
Okay. When I heard of the accident and I saw the they were photographs, but they were distant photographs of the accident. I made an FOI request for the investigation. I know I didn't get it all, and they blacked out, blurred out a lot of the photographs because it shows a dead trooper. I understand that. But I'm sitting here saying, this trooper was getting ready to retire, and if he can increase his annual salary by straight time and overtime, that's the number that's going to be used to calculate his retirement. It's like a percentage of your highest 3 years. I don't know whether it's the last 3 years or the highest 3 years. And I said, that trooper has a problem. And the state that permitted him to do it has a problem. Yeah, you don't have a lot of people on the road because you haven't filled a lot of slots, but you permitted that trooper to pretty much commit vehicular suicide by driving when he's fallen asleep.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have another trooper who goes to sleep in his car. Everybody knows he's sleeps in his car. He works midnights. He works he sleeps in the car. And you listen to the radio, and if you hear somebody call you, you wake up and you go to the call. And everybody knew what he did, but he never missed a call. We had a hellacious rain event. We had every river and stream in Connecticut flooding, flash flooding. He pulls his cruiser down next to the water and he's off the highway, whatever, he goes to sleep. And the flash flood comes and carries his cruiser down the road, down the stream, underwater, over water, whatever, I don't know, and he's missing. The only way they could find him was by pinging his cell phone. Why did he sleep during his shifts? Pigeonhole. You pigeonhole. There were a couple of guys in Hartford that used to work Union Square when there was nightclubs down there. The hotel actually had a room for the cops to go in and go to sleep. Take a nap, whatever. When I was on Weathersfield, Sergeant O'Leary used to meet me up on the Berlin Turnpike in a parking lot. He'd pull in where my driver's window would be at his driver's window. And I'd tell him, I said, Sarge, I can't make it. And he says, put your head back. I'll stay here and watch you for 20 minutes. Take your lunch break. Okay, sleeping. And I used to go home and I'd call up the operator. This is Officer Peruta, Weathersfield Police Department. I'm exhausted. Can you call me in 25 minutes to make sure I get up and go back to work? Because I'm going to fall asleep. The operators were great. They'd call me back. But I'm just saying, there's they got a vote of no confidence. And I had heard through the grapevine.
I don't know what that means either. I don't know what difference it makes, or
Of what?
A vote of no confidence. What has there ever been a vote of confidence? I've never heard of that.
Weathersfield Town Council took a vote of no confidence on me. Okay, and there was something else they called it. Censure. They censured me. Okay, didn't change a goddamn thing. What happened was, my cameraman Steve Signor went to record a wetlands or interior whatever meeting, and the chairman told him he couldn't do it and pushed him in the chest out of the door. And so I said, okay, you asshole. I filed a lawsuit. All right. And they gave Steve Signor enough money to buy a new car. And we called it hold on a minute. What was that car that Lois had? It was a Toyota
RAV?
A RAV.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Steve Signor it was, I don't know, $10,000 at the time. That's how much they gave him. He went out and bought a RAV, and we called it
Oh, he bought one too?
Yeah, we called it, what was his name again? The guy.
I know.
What's the daughter that has the lawyer firm at Maple?
And it's right on the Silestein Highway, and I can't think of it.
Yeah. And it was crazy. It was absolutely great. I mean, these people do this shit, and the guy working next to him, in other words, Weathersfield is divided into 5 districts, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And they all kind of border each other and meet in the center of town. If the guy in 4 is tired, the guy in 6 knows about it. And why can't the guy in 6 sit next to him and let him get a rest or get a some kind of break this? It's like, how many times did they tell you in school, take a break? Or yeah.
Yeah. So what else is going in the news this week that caught your attention?
Former U.S. Senator claims he once threatened to kick the shit out of Joe Biden for treatment of his wife. Okay.
I mean, they are really going after Trump. What's your opinion on that?
I think that they're increasing his popularity.
Yeah, but there's a theory out there now that he is not eligible to run for president because if you have taken part in an insurrection, it
Yep.
makes you not qualified. But being accused of it is not the same thing as having done it. So, in other words, we're innocent until proven guilty. So the issue is, for example, if somebody robbed a bank, I don't know, can a felon be president?
No.
Okay. So if somebody robs a bank and they're only charged with it, or they're accused of robbing a bank and they're only charged with it, and they haven't gone to trial and everything, they'd still be eligible to run for president, right? They're not a felon yet.
Right. You can be charged but not convicted and
Right.
run.
Right.
Get elected and pardon yourself.
So I don't know if it's increasing his popularity. Do you think it is?
Well, let me put it this way. There's a lot of people who are concerned about the skullduggery, the sneaky shit that goes on in Washington, the tit for tat game. Okay. People are sitting now going, why didn't we go after Hillary Clinton? Why? Evidence was there. Why didn't we get her for destroying her cell phones and all her messages? The evidence was there. And
Well, and Hunter Biden is.
well, that's the current one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now I guess some more shit's coming out. They're finding some more shit, or they've known about it, but now all of a sudden it's becoming public that there's more shit that they were involved in when his father, the current president, was the vice president. You know, he was around slapping his mouth up. You know, I can get you with my father.
Well, of course he was.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And I have to tell you this. I was talking to my son Michael yesterday, and my grandson is beginning to form words. So if Michael says wild, say dada. He goes, dada. If he says wild, say mama. He goes, mama. He says, say maverick. He goes, maverick. Okay. Say the dog's name. He says the dog's name. He says, say grandpa's name. He goes,
Oh no.
he is. And I have to, I'm going to start doing the video clips of Maverick. I mean, my God, I don't know how to explain the intelligence. He's only 18 months.
I know.
And even when he was at 10 months, he was doing this. I taught him how to do this. I can't believe I'm trying to think of how far back can I remember? How far back can I remember something? I remember being on a couch, and my mother in the living room had a big mirror on the back wall, and the couch was up against it. And you could get up on the couch and look at yourself in the mirror. And I can remember being up on the couch, looking in the mirror, and I had a white gauze type turban, and it was down over my right eye, and it was like a cast. Okay. I had fallen out of the car on Route 6 in Bolton. Okay. Because I opened the door as a kid. Out the door I went. My mother turned around to my brother John and says, "Where's Eddie?" And John goes, She says she looked in the rearview mirror. One of my shoes was in the middle of the road. And I remember the bandage.
Did she get arrested?
No.
Of course not.
Those
were the old days.
I remember the bandage on my head from that. Now, I don't know if I can remember earlier things. I've got pictures of Christmas at probably 4, and I recognize all of the toys that I had. But I think that there's things that we can talk about and not have to know every T is crossed, every I is dotted, because we're entitled to have opinions based on what's going on. And I want to
Well,
be.
one of the difficulties in is that we're so busy during the week doing the work we have to do that it's hard to keep track of news sometimes, and I think that's what they depend on, people not being able to keep track of
Well,
things.
yeah, I mean, even I am not like I used to be. I used to get up in the morning and I would turn on CBS, NBC, ABC, CNN, and Fox. I would go down the list, and I don't do that anymore. I mean, in my house, please don't turn on CBS News. Please don't turn on CNN. I'll read CNN on my phone. Gary, you falling asleep? Okay. He's got a front row seat. Um, I used to be a news hound. Just I'm chasing it, working with it, news desk, and I got so disgusted with news agencies or networks taking sides. You know, you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, they called now they called it an echo chamber. People listen to what they want to hear, and they hear what they it's they we're supported by things that we listen to, and we don't listen to things that we don't agree with.
I used to get very frustrated, and I want everybody on the other side of the cameras to do this if they could. We know that there was always the 6 o'clock news. News used to start at 6.
Mhm.
National news used to start at 6:30.
Mhm.
Had a half an hour of local, half an hour of national. And they'd have a little bit of world news in there too. Well, I, in paying attention to what was going on in Connecticut, said, why isn't all of this shit on the news? Why is Connecticut like this prissy, prim, proper state? Nothing happens. I had scanners going in the house.
Oh, speaking of that, though, I do wanna address this, because you're talking about Connecticut, where you live and everything. Hawaii,
Whoa,
Maui. Have you been to you've been to
I've
Maui?
been to Maui. That's where
Yeah.
Joe Momoa lives.
Oh my
I tried
god.
to get a hold of him on the phone. I tried to Facebook him. I tried to call him.
And you are I mean, it just sounds odd that an island in the middle of water would be having a huge fire, but you said that it gets very dry there, and if there's not rain, then you get forest fires, correct?
okay, let me tell you. I think what's going on. They've had no rain. The rain pattern's out of whack, and
Yeah, it
it
doesn't
hasn't. They've had no rain, and there's a low area. There's an area where it's spinning. Okay, and those winds are coming up, and supposedly a tree knocked over and hit a power line and started a fire. And when I first got to Hawaii, the first time I was there, not in a military uniform, I had made arrangements to stay at an army camp, for veterans,
Mhm.
retired. And it's on the west side of Oahu. And then there's the east side of Oahu. And they call this the Eva and something else. There's the uh, Diamond Head side, and then there's the Waianae, or whatever it is. I went up there to the west side. It was like a fucking desert.
Uh,
It was dry because the wind it was windward. There's windward and wayward. Windward is where the wind comes in off the ocean and the storms come in off the ocean, and then they don't get to go up over the Ku'ulau Mountain, so all of the rain stays here. And then you got dry over here, like literally like a desert. I said, I got to get out of here. So I can understand what's going on as far as the fires. But if you'd ever been to Lahaina, which is the southern shore of Maui, um, Those are all old shacks from the whaling
Oh, yeah, I
times,
can imagine.
and they're gone. They're gone. Hold on.
It's a lot of history.
Let me just try something out of crazy here. Okay, KAKAMA.
You're going to try to call your friend in Hawaii?
Yep. Yes, I am.
You're not going to put it on speakerphone, are you? No. It's on speakerphone, I think.
It is.
Yeah.
See, one of the only ways I can hear it.
It's doesn't sound like speakerphone to you. Not even a voicemail, huh? Wow. Oh, well, at least there's voicemail.
I'm worried. Was worried yesterday when I couldn't get him. His father and I were in combat together. It wasn't little Joe, but it's 80% gone. The like on the big island of Hawaii, the villages and the cities are on the ocean.
Right.
There's very little in the interior except volcanoes. And
Yeah, I did want to bring that up because I know that. How long did you spend in Hawaii?
2 years.
2 years, yeah.
2 years. But I lived on Waikiki. I could jump in the ocean if I wanted to. And some people did. Some people actually jumped in the ocean when the flames were going yeah. And some people, it just blew up around them. They're in their house. They didn't know what was going on. And all of a sudden, it's all around them. They can't get out. How many people have perished? Hold on. Because that is, how many people have perished on Maui? 80 now.
Oh my goodness. And that's undercounting, I'm sure.
It's just,
I wonder if the hospitals are available.
you know, it could be Native Hawaiians. I mean, people down in the hotels and stuff, they probably, the concrete doesn't burn.
Right.
But even Lahaina, it doesn't have, it's not a big metropolis. Well, we're done.
Well, yeah, I think you did a good job on the technology and the show today. You're getting better.
Yeah,
I think it was definitely good. And during the week, you work on that with Gary.
I'm going to leave this set up. You can leave if you want, but I'm going to try to figure out why I don't have, and I'm willing to bet you, because I've got an empty slot in my computer right there, and I don't know what's supposed to go there.
So are we going to end the live broadcast and then you can start a new practice one?
No, I'm going to do this with Gary in the middle of the week. Hold on. Gary, I'm going to see something. Hold on. Hold on, buddy. Hold on. Gary, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Test 1, 2, 3.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to. No. Hold on. Hold on. Audio. Speakers. Speakers. Realtek audio. Now, try it now, Gary.
Hello.
I can hear clicking.
I heard that.
I heard that.
Yep.
Okay, Gary, hold on.
Can he hear you?
Hold on. Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on.
We hear that.
Hold on. Exit full screen. Let's look at my audio. And we're going to News 5G. Audio is all the way up.
So Ed's going to end the broadcast now, right?
Yep.
Okay. Everybody
Okay.
have a good week. I am heading
seeing
out.
you
Try now,
guys.
Gary.
Good seeing you guys. Bye-bye.
I can hear you now.
I hear you. Okay.
Okay,
Can
good.
you hear me?
I hear you.
Over the internet.
Yeah, see.
Yes.
Yeah, there he is right there.
Okay. Take that outside and see if you can hear me talking on this.
Okay, I will
Here.
do that. Sounds
Hold on, Gary.
okay, and I'll just yell in.
Here's what
Okay.
you have to always say to me. Turn the speakers on, Ed.
Turn the speakers
Is
on,
that
Ed.
what was wrong?
Well, I've got
Like,
the
plug in your
HDMI.
USB cords.
Yeah, it's screwed up. But
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. So tell me,
Yeah,
what were you going to say to me? What were you?
I've got
See if you can get in the next 5-6 minutes.
yeah, I've got like 2 USB cords and one outlet plug to plug in to get everything working here. But yeah, it works. Hey, I was looking around shopping mall code of conduct.
The what?
Shopping malls.
Oh,
The
shopping malls.
shopping malls.
Like
Yeah,
where you go to shop.
yeah, the big ones.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
go to their
There's a
website.
code of conduct.
Go to their website. Scroll down to the
What's the
bottom.
name? What's the name of the website?
Whatever shopping mall you go to,
Hold on.
you go to their website. Scroll down to the bottom. Find code of conduct or security or any one of those links, and you'll find a list of their rules that security enforces on you.
Hold on. Scroll down to the bottom.
Go down to the bottom.
Okay.
See a code of conduct.
I'm looking. Explore dining, events, deal, parking map, directions, hours, contact, frequently asked questions, feedback. Hartford Healthcare, Pepsi, Waste Management, Aptiv, ISO, privacy policy, be the first to hear about new discounts.
About security department.
It doesn't have that there.
Ah,
Maybe it's got, hold on a minute. We use cookies. Okay. Subscribe. Nope, I don't want to subscribe. Before you go, check out the store on the menu. Contact us, visit events, officers, dining, shopping. Okay, hold on.
might be under visit.
Huh?
It might be under visit.
Visit?
Maybe nothing.
No, it's just got hours, directions, mall map, and
Okay,
parking.
try another shopping mall.
I don't know. Okay, whoa. There's one. I'll think of the name. Hold on a minute. What the hell is this? It's the big one.
You
I don't
got
know the
the
name.
shops at Evergreen Walk.
Yeah, there's a shop. Hold on. Mall in South Windsor.
Yeah, South Windsor.
Promenade shops at Evergreen Walk, Evergreen Gateway, Promenade Gateway.
Yeah,
Buckland
Evergreen
Hills
Walk.
Mall. Buckland
Evergreen.
Hills Mall is the big one.
Buckland Hills
Website.
Mall. I don't have that one. Let me find it
Buckland
on a
Hills
map.
Mall. Okay, what? I don't want our sales. Okay. Info, save, do, dine, shop. Let's go all the way down to the bottom. Conduct.
Yeah.
Code of conduct. Dress appropriately.
You see anything in the code of conduct that goes against your civil rights?
I haven't really. There's one that says ask management to take photos or videotapes or make audio
Yeah.
tapes.
Yeah.
Can't distribute literature, solicitation, demonstrations, and special promotions.
Yeah. So you're in there taking pictures with your, fancy telephoto lens camera, nice expensive Canon camera with maybe you got it dressed up with a rubber lens hood on it. And security comes up and says you got to have permission to take pictures in here.
Well, there was something about malls being considered
Public
public
place.
squares.
Yeah.
I'll have to do some research. Find out
That's
whether there's any, huh?
it's Prune Yard Shopping Center v. Robbins.
What?
Prune Yard Shopping Center v. Robbins.
StreamYard. Okay, hold on.
Prune Yard.
No, go ahead. Just tell me what it is.
Prune Yard
Yeah.
Shopping Center v. Robbins. It's a
V.
SCOTUS case
Robin?
versus Robbins.
Oh, V. Robin.
Yes, SCOTUS.
V.
Pruneyard.
Robin.
Yeah.
Robin.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on. StreamYard. V. Period. Robin.
What was that first word? We're gone. Prune. I don't hear you.